Karma wasn't going easy on pranking Nagisa. As for Wyan, he teased her on a daily basis, hoping to get a different reaction from her. He succeeded most of the times, like when she would immediately kill a cockroach with her shoe, and then almost puke up for feeling of disgust. Let's not talk about when it starts to fly. She didn't exactly hate Karma, but quite the opposite, and everyone noticed the change. Karma managed to bring her out of her shell in his own ways. As much as she wanted to convince herself that he was nothing more than a friend, somewhere it felt different. It wasn't exactly that she was thinking about it all the time, but sometimes she caught herself doing things that she wouldn't do or feel around other boys. She was afraid of accepting it, and almost forcing to have the same feelings for others. More than once a day, she would tell herself, maybe he's my best friend, rather than just a friend. Midterms were getting close, and Koro focused on Class 3E students, making sure they are prepared for their exams. He made his period into a high-speed enhanced midterm study hall, where he used his speed to provide special one-on-one attention, drilling everyone individually on areas where they needed improvement the most. With each passing day, he taught the students better and made them understand why they needed to balance their academics along with being good assassins. He wanted all the students of Class 3E to be in the top 50 of the whole school. I can tell you're way behind on math than any other subject, Karma said, walking back home with her one day. How do you know that? Koro-sensei never talks, Wyan asked, frowning at him. Karma chuckled, looking at her expression, and said, You do know we are training to become assassins, right? We should always have information about the other party. But why do you exactly need to know about me? She asked. It's not like you're gonna kill me. Oh, how can you be so sure, Cherry? Karma asked, blocking her path. He bent down to her eye level and said, Do you keep track on me as well? No, Wyan stuttered, backing away her head, a blush covering her face. It's just that we are friends, right? I mean, it's a hunch that you won't. I trust you. Trust? Karma thought. The word carried a lot more weight, and he was perfectly aware of that. You shouldn't trust people so easily, Karma said. His smile wiped off his face. He felt her eyes fixate on his face and broke down a smile. Yes, she was very one expressive girl. What kind of expression was she making now? Was she surprised? He looked at her, and she quickly turned away. He caught her, though, and she wasn't surprised. She actually looked worried. Wyan was definitely someone interesting. Has she always been like this? Trusting someone so quickly and letting her guard down? Karma smirked. Cherry, if you stare at me like that, I'm gonna misunderstand. He said, No, it's just that you looked a bit different for a moment. So she's observant, he thought, and looked at her, walking with her head down. I can help you with maths today if you want, Karma asked. He knew she would immediately agree to it, and she did. They walked to the nearest cafe and sat down in one of the empty tables. She immediately took out her bag and her books and copies. Whoa, calm down, Cherry, he said, holding her hand. Let's order something first. I don't have any. I don't either, he said, taking out some money. But Koro-sensei was feeling generous. Order whatever you want. She took a look at the menu and pointed out to a drink. Chocolate smoothie with fries. All right, he said, and ordered a Coke along with it for himself. When he came to sit back down with the food, he noticed her already staring at him. He decided to tease her a little. Oh, you must be very hungry, Cherry. Oh, I'm starving, Wyan said with a huge smile plastered on her face and biting on the fries. Cute, he thought, but this wasn't the reaction he was looking for. Come closer. He pulled her chair toward him. You don't expect me to correct your mistakes from so far, do you? Wyan's cheeks were red, and she was feeling shy to look at him. So, giving him a nod, she quickly opened the books and copied while Karma watched her with an amused smile. This was exactly what he wanted to see. But it wasn't enough. If it was, he wouldn't make her come with him in the first place. He wanted to know how much more he could tease her and get away with it. Where's the fun without some kind of risk, right? He wouldn't do something right away. No. He's gonna take his time and make it worth it. Halfway through their study session, Karma watched Wyan form a mustache out of her drink after opening the lid and drinking it. He made sure not to make her feel conscious about him staring at her. Besides, it looked like she was too focused on the math problem to even look at him. Far too long for his liking. Boring, he thought. His finger moved to her face and she flinched, but didn't move away this time. He smirked at that. Progress? He rubbed off the smoothie from her face and watched her eyes. She wasn't looking at him, though. Her eyes were following the finger, and her cheeks reddened on the realization that she was sitting with him the whole time with a mustache on her face. She looked at him, and he timed it perfectly, waiting for her to look him in the eye. Karma licked the smoothie off his finger and muttered, "Sweet." He wasn't exactly loud, but loud enough for Wyan to hear. Boom. Wyan's face exploded to a deep red blush, and she covered her face with her hands, while keeping her head down on the table. "You keep distracting me, Karma." She peeked at him, looking through her fingers. "I take it back." "What?" he asked, confused. "I take it back. You will kill me like this," she said, hiding her face again. Fuck. Karma sighed, thinking, she's way too cute. The one thing that Koro didn't take into account is that the principal didn't just come casually to see the teachers of Class 3E and give them a small talk and about principles that should be followed. It was a warning, and he was a step ahead. Asano himself taught the students of the top section and took their classes. The ranks of Class 3E were nowhere close to the top 50, and as expected, Koro took the blame upon himself. Karma, though, got 100 in almost all the subjects. Just some of them were 2 marks less. Everyone surely forgot about him and how smart he was. And for someone who was always teasing Wyan, he skipped on her ranks and marks completely. Although relieved, she didn't like how the topic made him stop from sharing his thoughts. Even if he was being considerate, that was nothing like how Karma was. No one would have guessed. But most of the time, Wyan's hunch on someone was correct, and she wanted to talk it out with him, in spite of how awkward it might feel. You know, you can ask me about my marks. I won't mind. Wyan sighed, looking down, walking back home that day. I never really do. But I don't want to, Karma said. You can tell me if you want. Why? Wyan asked, looking at his face, confused. Oh, I'm on the 148th position, by the way. Even your tutoring couldn't help me. But you scored the highest in math, right? No. Psychology was my highest. It's easy to remember some terms when I know some people facing it. Karma stopped walking, hearing that. For a moment, just a second, he felt a shiver down his spine. She scored on it just based on some information and symptoms. It was almost creepy. He liked it. This was something totally different from all of her other reactions, something a bit evil than her other peer ones. What happened? Wyan asked, snapping him out of his thoughts. Nothing, Cherry. He grinned, and she scoffed, hearing the nickname, with a blush on her face, and started walking faster. Karma smiled and walked faster to catch up to her. So, that's how good it was. Her hunch. Hi everyone. So thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking to the end of the video. It's raining outside, so the perfect atmosphere, you guys. Except all the freaking cars, bro. Nobody wants to hear your goofy ass car, okay? Okay. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have an amazing morning. Have an amazing afternoon. Have an amazing evening, which is where I am right now, whenever you're listening to this. And I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Be sure to check out my other channel because I am going to post on that one tonight. Yeah, anyways, good night, everybody.